Morning students. Today we are going to study about growth of bacterial cells. In last two previous lectures we studied about introduction to pharmaceutical microbiology and the structure of bacteria. The growth of bacterial cells. In order to study the various microorganisms, the microorganisms must be grown. And there are various applications of all these microorganisms including bacteria and fungi. So particularly their growth is mainly important one. So today we are going to say about growth of bacterial cells. The contents of my today's presentation are nutritional requirements, raw materials used in culture media, physical parameters for growth, growth curve and bacterial reproduction. Nutritional requirements. Bacteria require adequate nutrition, optimum pH, temperature and oxygen for the growth and multiplication. Yes, every organism, whether it may be any plant, any animal, human being or anyone, the optimum nutrition is mainly required for their growth as well as for their survival. So the adequate nutrition and other physical conditions are mainly required for the growth as well as survival, and bacteria also requires these kind of requirements for their growth as well as survival. Here the growth of bacteria means not increase in their weight or in their mass, but the growth of bacteria means their multiplication. From one bacterial cell, 2 cells are produced, from 2 4 are produced, from 4 6 8 are produced, and likewise the bacterial cells multiply, and this multiplication is nothing but the growth of the bacterial cells. So suitable artificial media means culture media which contains source of carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus and other elements such as sodium, potassium, magnesium and iron in very small amounts have been used for the cultivation of microorganisms in the laboratory. So culture media is the artificial media which contains the essential ingredients and which provide the essential nutrients for the growth of the microorganisms. So culture media is available into the microbiological laboratory, and that is mainly used for growth of such bacterial cells. This culture media provides all the sources of carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen and many more which are essential for the growth of bacterial cells. So the culture media is the artificial media or the mixture of ingredients which provides essential nutrients for the growth of microorganisms. Okay, there are two concepts. First one is culture media and another one is only culture. Culture media is the mixture of ingredients, while the culture means growth of cells. The culture of cells is there. Mass of growth of cells is mainly called as the culture. So these are the two differentiable concepts, that is culture media and culture. So don't get confused between these two words. Culture medium is different while culture is different. So on the basis of nutritional requirements, bacteria can be classified. First, on the basis of source of energy. The bacteria which derive their energy from sunlight are called as phototrophs. The word suggests photo, which stands for sunlight. Phototrophs means they obtain their energy from the sunlight. For example, Rhodospiridium rubrum. The bacteria which derive their energy from chemical reactions or chemical sources are mainly called as chemotrophs. For example, Escherichia coli. Here the common bacterial species which we will with which we will be very interacting or we will be in touch with such bacterial species are Escherichia coli, Staphylococcus aureus, Pseudomonas aeruginosa and many more, and Streptococcus pyrogens. So there are many bacterial species which we are going to study in our every lecture. So before proceeding to the next part, firstly we will see about the nomenclature of the bacteria. The bacteria has biological name, and these biological names mainly consist of two parts. First genera and second one is the species. So here into the word you can say Escherichia is the genera and coli is the species. So generic means genera and the species. These two words are mainly included into the biological name of any organism, whether it may be any microorganism or plant or animal. So at these names have been assigned based upon certain characteristics. For example, Escherichia name has been given because it was discovered by the scientist Escherich, and that's why word has been given as Escherichia. And coli, coli stands for the colon, means the Escherichia coli is mainly present into the intestine of human beings, and that's why the word has been given, the name has been given as Escherichia coli. Another bacterial species name is Staphylococcus aureus. The Staphylococcus is already covered by us. Staphylococci means it is the bunch of cocci which looks bunch of grapes. So that is mainly called as Staphylococci. And aureus, aureus means golden. So these bacterial species produce golden color colonies onto the culture medium. The colonies means the concept of colonies we have already discussed. Colony means it is the mass of cells which occurs after complete growth onto the culture medium. Okay, so likewise the biological names have been assigned to certain bacterial species. Okay, so next on the basis of source of energy, all microbes require a source of electrons for their metabolism. Okay, so bacteria which use reduced inorganic compounds as electron donors are called as lithotrophs. Okay, and some of the species which use organic compounds as electron donors are called organotrophs, for example Escherichia coli. Another important thing, while writing the name means while writing the biological name, we have to underline the word. Okay, the word, the genera word must be capitalized and other must be the small one, that is the species name must be smaller one. And if we are writing and if we are typing, and whole of the word must be italicized. Okay, next, on the basis of source of carbon, microbes require carbon for synthesizing the cell components. Some species use carbon dioxide as the major source of carbon, and these microorganisms are called as autotrophs. For example, nitrifying bacteria. Nitrifying bacteria means which are mainly responsible for nitrogen fixation within the soil. Okay, and other species requires organic compounds as the source of carbon, and such species are called as heterotrophs, again E. coli or Escherichia coli. Okay, next source is nitrogen. Yes, bacteria can use nitrogen from the atmosphere because it is abundantly present, or from inorganic compounds such as nitrates, nitrites, ammonium salts, or organic compounds such as amino acids. So nitrogen is the major component of protein and nucleic acid. Next, sulfur. Sulfur is needed for the synthesis of amino acids, for example cysteine and methionine. Phosphorus is an essential component of nucleotides, nucleic acid and phospholipids, etc. Mineral salts, growth factors or bacterial vitamins and water are also essential for the bacterial growth. Okay, so all these sources, whether it may be any organic compound, inorganic compound, electrons or carbon, nitrogen, amino acids, sulfur, phosphorus, salts, growth factors, vitamins, everything is mainly needed for the growth of all these bacteria, and all these essential nutrients are mainly provided for the growth of bacterial cells in the form of culture medium. So culture media, as we already discussed, it is the mixture of ingredients which provide essential nutrients for the growth of microorganisms. These media are artificially prepared material of various nutrients for the growth and multiplication of microorganisms. We already discussed that all the nutrients are mainly provided in the form of culture medium, and growth means nothing but the multiplication of microorganisms. Okay, there are certain characteristics of the media, and those should be satisfied while preparing this kind of culture media. That is, all the media must provide all the sources, whether it may be carbon source, nitrogen source, minerals and other growth factors. Next, all media to be used must be initially free from microorganisms, so that it must be sterilized before use. Yes, the sterilization of culture medium as well as sterilization of glasswares which we are using for preparation of culture medium should be sterilized. The sterilization concept we have already studied. Sterilization means it is a process of killing the microorganisms, and it is very essential. If we used the culture medium as it is without sterilization, then what will happen? The culture media already contains the microorganisms, and those microorganisms will interfere into the growth, so that we will not get the pure culture. Here the concept is there again, pure culture. What is pure culture? Pure culture means it is a culture of only single microbial species. For example, culture of Escherichia coli means it only contains the Escherichia coli into the culture. Other microorganisms, other bacterial species are not present into that culture. Okay, so that is mainly called as pure culture. And in order to get the pure culture, everything whatever we are going to use for the growth of microorganisms or preparation of culture media, that culture media as well as glasswares must be sterilized. That is the main condition while preparing this culture medium. Now, there are various raw materials which provides the sources are mainly available into the culture medium. First one is water. Water is the rich source of hydrogen and oxygen, and that can be used as a diluent. Yes, water is very important nutrient for growth of any kind of microorganisms. So bacteria are no exception for such kind. So water is very essential, and that is mainly available into the culture medium. Next, electrolytes. For example, sodium chloride and other electrolytes are mainly present into the culture media. Then peptone. It is a complex mixture of partially digested proteins from animals or vegetable sources. Yes, partially digested. Digested means broken down proteins, and which are mainly obtained from animals or vegetable sources. The main constituents are protease, amino acids, inorganic salts, which includes phosphate, potassium, magnesium, and growth factors includes nicotinic acid and riboflavin. Peptone mainly supplies nitrogenous material and also acts as a buffer. Peptone is stored in tightly closed container because it is hygroscopic and becomes sticky when exposed to air. So sufficient care should be taken while storing this peptone because it is mainly hygroscopic in nature. Then next one is yeast extract and meat extract. The media contains protein degradation products, carbohydrates, inorganic salts and certain growth factors, and these are mainly used for enriching the culture medium. Enrichment of culture media means adding that ingredient or adding that raw material which provide all kinds of nutrients like proteins, carbohydrates, growth factors, vitamins and many more. Okay, blood. It enriches the media. Usually 5 to 10% defibrinated horse or sheep blood is mainly used. Yes, blood is also rich source of protein, and other growth factors are also mainly present into the blood, so that can be used as one of the important constituent into the preparation of culture medium. Next one is agar. Agar is long chain polysaccharide which is obtained from seaweeds algae. Agar is a mixture of two polysaccharides, that is agarose, that is 70%, and agropectin, that is 30%. It contains calcium, chloride, magnesium, sulfate and iron. But agar is commonly used as solidifying agent in the preparation of solid culture medium. Yes, agar does not have any nutritional value into the culture medium, but that is mainly used as a solidifying agent, means which causes solidification of culture medium, so that liquid culture medium is converted into solid culture medium, and that is mainly possible by addition of the agar. So agar is very widely used or generally used ingredient for solidification of culture medium. So these raw materials are mainly used for preparation of culture medium. Now, types of culture medium. The culture medium can be divided on the basis of or classified on the basis of their physical state, that is solid culture medium, semi-solid culture medium and liquid culture medium. The very common example of solid culture medium is nutrient agar, while the very common example of liquid culture medium is nutrient broth. These are very widely used culture media into any microbiological laboratory. First one is nutrient agar, which is solid, while nutrient broth, which is liquid culture medium, and while the semi-solid culture medium contains about 0.2 to 0.5% of agar. Okay, the solid culture medium contains about 1.5 to 2.5% of agar. So this is the difference between solid, semi-solid and liquid culture medium. Again I will repeat, the example of solid culture medium is nutrient agar and example of liquid culture medium is nutrient broth. Into day-to-day practicals, these two culture media we are going to use. Then the classification on the basis of ingredients, okay, on the basis of complexity. For example, simple culture medium. Okay, so these media includes only peptide water and nutrient broths, which form the basis of most media used in the study of common bacteria. Okay, addition of 2% of agar to the nutrient broth forms a nutrient agar medium, which is a solid basal medium. Okay, so its composition is very simple. Next one is complex medium, which may be any non-synthetic or undefined media. The complex media usually contains complex materials of biological origin, such as we already studied that blood, yeast extract, meat extract. Okay, so the exact chemical composition of this media is not known, but it provides all the growth factors for the cultivation of unknown bacteria. So these media may be added ingredients for special purposes for the growth of specific microorganisms. Okay, this complex culture medium, okay, which is also called as non-synthetic, or it is also called as undefined, chemically undefined media, means we do not know exact chemical composition as well as exact concentration of all the ingredients present into the culture medium, and that's why it is mainly called as chemically undefined. Next type is synthetic or chemically defined medium, means the chemically defined, means whose exact chemical composition is known to us. These media are mainly prepared from pure chemical substances and the exact composition of the medium is mainly known. Okay, so this is the difference between complex or unsynthetic and synthetic or chemically defined culture medium. Next type is spatial media. First one is enriched media. So these enriched media are prepared by addition of substances such as blood, serum or egg to the simple culture medium. For example, blood agar, chocolate agar. Okay. Next one is selective media. Selective media means when a specific substance is added to the medium which inhibits the growth of unwanted bacteria and allows the growth of wanted bacteria. Such a kind of culture media is mainly called as enrichment or selective media. The enriched media is different, while enrichment or selective media are different. Okay, as the word suggests, selective, which is mainly selected for the growth of particular bacterial species only. For example, if we want to grow only the Escherichia coli, so that culture medium we will have to use which only allows the growth of Escherichia coli. It does not allow the growth of other bacterial species. Okay, and that is mainly called as selective culture medium. For example, McConkey's agar or McConkey's broth is mainly used for the growth of Escherichia coli, which only allows the growth of Escherichia coli. After other bacterial species do not grow into such kind of culture medium. Okay, so that is about enrichment or selective culture medium. There is also the difference between enrichment culture medium and selective culture medium. The enrichment culture medium is liquid in nature, while selective culture media is solid in nature. Okay, then differential media. A differential medium is used to distinguish between different types of bacteria based upon some of the observable characteristics. Okay, then after that, transport media. There are some of the delicate microorganisms which may not survive the time taken for transporting the specimen from one laboratory to another laboratory, from one place to another place. So for such a kind of bacteria, special media is mainly required, and that is mainly called as transport media. Okay, last one is anaerobic media. We already studied the there are mainly three concepts of microorganisms, that is aerobic bacteria, anaerobic bacteria and facultative anaerobic bacteria. The aerobic bacteria means which require the oxygen, and anaerobic bacteria means which do not require the oxygen. So anaerobic media is mainly used for growth of anaerobic bacteria. Okay, so this is the classification of culture medium. Now these culture media can be prepared into the laboratory, or they are already available into the ready-made form. Okay, for example, nutrient agar. The composition of nutrient agar is water, then sodium chloride, meat extract and peptone. Means these ingredients are available into the lab. We have to weigh them, we have to mix them, we have to add sufficient amount of water, boil it, we will get the nutrient agar. But the nutrient agar is present or is available into its ready-made form. The instructions are given onto the container. We have to weigh sufficient quantity of nutrient agar, dissolve it into the sufficient quantity of water and boil it. After boiling, we will get the nutrient agar. Okay, so likewise the culture media plays very important role for providing the chemical requirements for the growth of bacterial cells. Next one, physical parameters for the growth of bacteria. The nutritional requirements or chemical requirements are mainly provided in the form of culture media, but another part for the growth of bacterial cells are physical parameters like temperature, oxygen, pH, osmotic pressure. All these physical conditions are mainly required for the growth of bacteria also. First one is temperature. Yes, temperature is particularly important for the growth of bacteria also. It is one of the important physical factors that has great influence onto the growth of microorganisms. Okay, optimum growth temperature is mainly required for the growth of bacteria. The temperature that allows for rapid growth during a short period of time is mainly called as optimum growth temperature. And this kind of temperature should be reached during the growth of microorganisms. Okay, so at this temperature there is maximum growth of microorganisms. That's why the word optimum is very essential, and that temperature must be used during the growth of microorganisms. Okay, then the highest temperature at which microorganism shows growth is called as maximum growth temperature, while the lowest temperature at which microorganisms shows growth is known as minimum growth temperature. Okay, and based upon the temperature requirement, the bacteria may be classified into three categories. First one is psychrophiles, second one is mesophiles, and third one is thermophiles. Okay, here the growth temperature is mainly divided into three categories, that is minimum growth temperature, optimum growth temperature, and maximum growth temperature. Psychrophiles can grow into the temperature of 0 to 5, but their optimum growth temperature is 10 to 15, and they can tolerate the temperature only up to 20 degrees Celsius. Beyond that, these kind of bacteria cannot survive or cannot grow. Okay, that's why psychrophile are mainly called as cold temperature loving bacteria. For example, Pseudomonas fluorescens. Okay, next one is mesophiles, which has minimum growth temperature about 15 to 20, but optimum growth temperature is 35 to 40 and maximum growth temperature is 45. So the optimum growth temperature about 35 to 40, mainly 37 degrees Celsius, is generally used for the growth of these mesophiles, and whatever pathogenic bacteria or commonly used bacterial species are there, they are generally mesophiles. For example, Escherichia coli. That's why the mesophiles are called as moderate temperature loving bacteria. Okay, third category is thermophiles, whose minimum growth temperature is 35 to 55, optimum growth temperature is 50 to 70, but maximum growth temperature is up to 80 degrees Celsius. For example, Streptomyces thermophilus. So at higher temperature, this kind of bacteria can grow, and that's why these bacteria, means thermophiles, are called as high temperature loving bacteria. Okay. Then next physical requirement is pH. The pH of growth culture media of bacteria has a profound effect upon multiplication of microorganisms. Each microbial species has definite pH range for the growth and multiplication, and depending upon optimum pH value of microorganisms or bacteria, they can be classified as acidophiles, neutrophiles, and basophiles. Acidophiles require the pH between 1 to 6.5, neutrophiles 6.5 to 7.5, and basophiles 7.5 to 14. Okay. Next requirement is oxygen requirement. Yes, we already discussed that depending upon oxygen requirement, bacteria can be divided into three categories, that is aerobic bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, and facultative anaerobic bacteria. Aerobic bacteria means which require the oxygen. Oxygen is essential for their growth. Okay. These bacteria require oxygen for growth and can grow when incubated in an air atmosphere. Okay. For example, Escherichia coli and Staphylococcus aureus. Next category is anaerobic, which do not require oxygen, and oxygen is toxic to such a kind of bacteria. Okay, so they are mainly called as anaerobic bacteria. For example, Clostridium species. Third category is facultative anaerobic, means they can either grow in presence or in absence of oxygen. Okay, oxygen may be required or may not be required for such a kind of bacteria, and they are mainly called as facultative anaerobic bacteria. Okay, so these are the important physical parameters which should be adjusted during the growth of microorganisms or during the growth of bacterial cells. Then next part is growth curve of bacteria. The normal growth curve of bacteria can be determined by inoculating a small number of bacterial cells into suitable culture medium and counting the bacteria at regular intervals. Yes, the word inoculation. The inoculation means it is the artificial induction of some of the bacterial cells onto the culture media for their growth. That is mainly called as inoculation. So growth curve of bacteria is mainly obtained by inoculating such small number of bacteria means we have to inoculate, we have to after inoculation onto the culture medium, we have to incubate into the incubator at required optimum growth temperature, and at various time intervals we have to count the number of bacteria. Okay, and after plotting the logarithm of viable number of logarithm of viable cells are plotted against time on graph paper, and it gives a typical curve, and which is mainly called as bacterial growth curve or growth cycle of bacteria. So the resulting curve has 4 distinct phases. First one is lag phase, second one is log or logarithmic phase, third one is stationary phase, and fourth one is death or decline phase. Here you can see the typical growth curve of bacteria. Onto the x-axis there is time, onto the y-axis there is log of number of cells. So we get 4 kind of phases. That is, first one is lag phase. The lag phase involves when bacteria are inoculated into fresh culture medium, the number of bacteria remains constant for initial period. The period between inoculation and beginning of multiplication is mainly called as lag phase. So in this phase, the bacteria mainly try to adapt to the new environment, because bacteria are inoculated into the culture medium as well as they are mainly incubated at particular temperature. So this condition may be newer to them, and they mainly try to adapt to such kind of environment, and that's why that phase is mainly called as lag phase. So during this phase, the number of microorganisms do not increase. Next phase is log phase, okay, which is also called as exponential phase, because here into this phase the number of bacterial cells mainly starts to increase exponentially. Okay, so during this phase the cells start to multiply, the cells start to divide at a constant rate, and the log of number of cells plotted against time results in a straight line. The bacteria multiply at their maximum rate and their number increases exponentially. Okay, so this phase is mainly called as log phase. Next one is stationary phase. So in this phase, a constant high population of cells is maintained by a balance between cell division and cell death. The rate of multiplication is reduced because of depletion of nutrients, means sufficient nutrients are not available for their growth. Okay, and accumulation of toxic waste products, as well as very high concentration of cells and low partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, and that's why the increasing number of bacterial cells get mainly reduced and number of cells remains constant, and that's why the phase is mainly called as stationary phase. And next phase is the death or decline phase. So it is also called as logarithmic death phase. During this phase, the number of viable cells decreases exponentially, essentially the inverse of growth during the log phase. Okay, a variety of conditions are mainly responsible for this. For example, unavailability of nutrients and accumulation of toxic waste products. So bacteria die at different rates just as they grow at different rates. Okay, so these are the 4 phases which these are the 4 different phases of life cycle of the bacteria. Then next one is the bacterial reproduction. Bacteria reproduce asexually as well as sexually. A bacterial reproduction takes place by following methods: binary fission, budding, fragmentation, and formation of conidiospores. First one is binary fission. Microorganisms multiply by asexual process of cell fission. Most bacteria multiply by transverse binary fission, that is division into 2 equal cells. Yes, here into the figure you can see from one cell 2 cells are produced, from 2 cells 4 are produced, from 4 cells 8 produced, and likewise. Okay, so binary fission is very important process of reproduction of bacteria. Next one is the budding. It is a process in which small bud, here you can see into the figure, small bud develops at one end of the cell. The bud enlarges and eventually develops into a new cell which then separates from the parent cell. Okay, and fragmentation, bacteria may grow or reproduce by fragmentation of the filaments into small bacillary or cocoidal cells. Each filament grows and forms new cells. Then formation of conidiospores or sporangiospores. Streptomyces and related bacteria produce many spores per organism. Each spore develops and forms new cells. Okay, so likewise the bacterial reproduction mainly takes place by these methods. Okay, so this is all about regarding the growth of bacterial cells. The growth of bacteria mainly require nutritional requirements. Physical conditions are mainly essential for the growth, and growth curve can be obtained by plotting log of number of cells versus time, and there are various methods like binary fission for the reproduction of bacteria. Okay, thank you.